Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith. In the last video, we left off with this guy showing up right behind Jin. That's right, we got an Imperial Officer, and not just any Imperial Officer, the elite version of an Imperial Officer actually showed up behind Jin. So this is going to be really interesting. I actually didn't know it was going to happen, and now Jin seems to be right beside or adjacent to an elite officer. I don't know how bad or good that potentially is going to be, but let's go to the app and find out what exactly we have to do. I have put a character into play for him, or a miniature for this character, as well as grab the deployment card, as you can see here. We know the attack dice will be blue and yellow, so I'll just go ahead and grab two of those, put them beside, and we got one white defense die, so we'll do that as well, so they're ready for whenever this actually ends up being put to use. Now let's go to the app and find out what we got next. So it says an officer strides through the gate. Deploy the Imperial, or an elite Imperial Officer. Elite figures are stronger versions of regular figures and use the red deployment cards instead of the gray ones. Note that this Imperial Officer has 3 bonus health, indicated by the +3 in its icon on the app, or on its icon in the app. So you can see right up there in the top right corner of the screen, it has a +3, so that's just letting you know that it's going to have 3 health on top of the 5 health that it already has, so a total of 8. And our next objective, second one it looks like, is to defeat this Imperial Officer, and that's essentially it, I think. The officer looks at you with disdain before barking orders at the forces accompanying him to destroy you. Sometimes the app will deploy Imperial groups at random from your collection. Oh man. These deployments are indicated by a chance cube icon next to the group's portrait on the right side of the screen. The app will highlight a space on the map, and you should place each figure in that group as close to the space as possible. Oh geez, that is not good. Wow, okay, interesting, very interesting. So, minor peril. The stress of battle is beginning to take its toll on you. Each hero suffers an additional strain. Not good. So this is where things get tough. Thank goodness that we actually took away one of the strain from Garkin, because this strain I'm putting on him right now would have been an extra damage, because it would have been 5 endurance, but in the last video we actually used one of our surges to remove one, so we're at his total limit of 4, so we're fine. And then one additional strain for Jin puts her at 3, and she can handle 4. We're fine, so no health damage coming through there, thank goodness. Peril effects and Imperial abilities can cause heroes to suffer strain. Yes, that just happened. If a hero has more strain placed on its hero sheet than endurance, any strain added beyond it is placed as damage. We've already talked about this a couple times. All right, round 2, here we go. So at this point now, our activations are back, and really, it's our turn to just take this guy down. We just got to get rid of him. It's really interesting because I've sent Garkin so far away, he's kind of halfway between the crates and halfway between this individual. We know he's got a total of 8 health. I don't know if Jin can potentially do all the damage necessary to kill him, but it could be worthwhile attempting to. I gotta give Jin back her extra die here, or not extra, but she had 2 green. I took that away way back. What do we do? What do we do? Do I have Garkin go for the crates? Do I have him go back and help? The next enemy that comes out, it looks like this is objective 2 of 3, so I'm assuming the next objective that comes out is going to be even tougher. So it might be worth our while to actually run over here and grab a crate. Maybe have Garkin go do that. I don't know. It's so tough. I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna risk it. This could be a poor choice. But remember what the app said too, is that like if we don't get rid of him, he can potentially deploy. Now the question can be is, can Garkin even get close enough to do anything here? If I use charge again, he would get strain. He would get 2 more strain. 2 more strain on top of the 4 strain he has would give him 2 damage, which is not good. But we could do it because we could suck it up. He's got 24 health with the +10 from the app. But at the same time, in terms of actually getting there, his speed is 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. He could get adjacent, so I could get him there, and it might be worth it. It might be worth it, but it might not be worth it to use charge. It might be worth it to use an action to get him here, and then from here have him attack, and then have Jin take 2 shots at him and try to kill him off. Let's do that. Let's do the smart thing, not go for the crates. I really wanted to gamble and do it, but let's just get rid of this guy. So Garkin's going to activate first. I've already moved him, so 1 action spent, and he moved all 4 of his speed. Now he's sitting right here ready to take on this Imperial Officer. The Imperial Officer gets 1 white defensive die, and Garkin's going to have a yellow and a red die. Can we do anything here? Do we have anything? After attack, target use resolve. Nope, nope, nope. Nothing of this is going to help, so we're good. We're just rolling off, seeing if we can do some damage. Here's hoping this pans out for me. Interesting. Oh, and a total miss on all. That's awesome. So we ended up getting an extra surge. So with that extra surge, I could push up his... oh, that's kind of silly, actually. Oh, we should actually take a look at the Imperial Officer as well to see if he's got additional information we need to be aware of. Ignore the execute, order, and cower abilities on this group's card. Executive order is this one, so we're ignoring that one. And cower, so we're ignoring both, so we don't have to read either. And you can see because it says you may. Remember, anything that says you may, the word may really needs to be completely ignored in this game. So that's not going to matter. Let's see here. So I guess shoot, because Pierce 1 does nothing for me because he didn't get any blocks. Cleaves are useless because there's nobody else around him. So I can't give anybody else additional damage. So really that surge is useless, except we can spend it to get rid of one of our strain tokens. So let's do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and have the 1, 2, 3 damage go through. The 2 accuracy is not needed because he's a melee character right beside him. 3 damage hit against this particular officer. So that's not bad. It's not the best. Hopefully Jin can figure out the rest of the damage, but it's a good shot. So that's it. We're going to say now that Garkin's activation is done. Oh, I didn't expect that. That's not going to be good. So Imperial Officers prefer for others to do the fighting for them. To that end, this figure will attempt to use its order instruction to tell other Imperial figures to attack the hero that has suffered the least damage. If there is no eligible figure that can attack that hero, use targeting priority to pick the hero with the least damage. That could be attacked to be the target. If no other Imperial figure can perform an attack, skip the instruction. Okay, so let's see. Oh, it's an order instruction. I see. So it'll always, like, the Imperial Officer will always be trying to give orders to somebody on the battlefield, but if there's nobody in the battlefield to give those orders to, it's skipped essentially. So in this case, does he have anybody? This Imperial Officer has an instruction preceded by a cube, I guess is what that thing's trying to say. This symbol indicates that this instruction does not require an action. Oh, where's that? Oh no, it has an instruction preceded by this little square thing is way down here, cower. So this symbol indicates that this instruction does not require an action, and so this instruction will always be performed if its conditions are met. It does not count toward the 2 action instructions. Okay, perfect. So we have to resolve that cower. It says if adjacent to another Imperial figure, which is not, it would recover 3 damage. Oh geez, so if it's next to somebody, it's going to recover. The adjacent non-focused Imperial figure with the highest figure cost becomes focused. So he's really beefing up his allies if he has any. And right now we've got him wedged in a corner with no allies, but that's something to keep in mind. At this point now he's going to go ahead. So none of those things matter for him right now because he hasn't actually brought anybody else into the field, but we still have to actually go ahead and activate him. So let's talk about that now. This first one says executive order. Another Imperial figure with a figure cost of 6 or less that can perform an attack attacks. There is nobody, so that's going to get completely ignored. The next one says if this figure did not use executive order, which didn't, move 3 to attack the rebel who has suffered the least damage. The least damage would be actually Jin. So as of right now, Garkin has by far the most, so he's going to be focusing on Jin, which makes sense. He's coming right behind her and he's going to take some shots at her. This character is a ranged shooter, but he is adjacent, so his range is his accuracy is going to be easy there. And that's pretty much it. So he's going to attack, and he doesn't have to move at all because he's right there beside her. So let's do this. So blue and yellow going in. Jin gets a where is my defensive die? White. And we're hoping for the best here. Does she have anything else? After you resolve an attack? Nope. Use at a start of hostile figures in activation. I could interrupt to do quick draw. If I do this, I take damage because I would be putting 2 strain on her. It might be worth it though. I would need to get 5 damage to kill him. I don't think that's going to happen. It's probably not worth it. Oh, tough to say, tough to say. Oh, maybe I will. Let's do it. Let's risk it. So let's interrupt this whole attack by him first to resolve quick draw first. So I'm going to put 2 strain on Jin, and this is, of course, I can't because I've hit my limit now of 4 endurance. The extra strain then becomes a damage that hits her, but to me it's worth it. So this is going to be, let's see what it says here. Interrupt to perform an attack with a pistol targeting that figure. Limit once per round, twice if you have 2 activation figures or 2 activation tokens. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm just making an attack against him, and he's going to have defense. He still always gets his defense. Here we go. Let's hope I can make a decent attack against him. Oh, that's not bad. So he totally missed on all accounts in terms of blocking. I managed to get easily my accuracy as well as 4 damage. That's an incredible shot. If I had just got 1 more, I would have killed him. So I wasn't able to actually take him out, but hey, it's a good, powerful attack. That's awesome. So now he's got 7 damage on him. So that's done. She did her quick draw. And she's happy with those results. So now we're going to go back to the Imperial Officer, who's here and is now going to take that attack against her with blue and yellow. This should be pretty nasty. Let's see what happens. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, sorry, I was reading that wrong. 1 block, good. So the block will take care of the 1 damage, perfect. Range-wise or accuracy-wise, I should say, he didn't need it, so he's good. He's right beside her. He gets 1 surge. That's not really that exciting. What does his surge do? It says the first Imperial attack gains +1 surge. Technically, that was his first attack, so he's going to gain an additional surge on top of the surge he got. So he gets 2 surges, and what do those surges do? +3 accuracy. He's not going to use that because he's beside. He will use it for +1 damage. So that means 1 damage will get through. And then stun. So it looks like Jin is going to take 1 damage and then become stunned. And stun's a whole different ball. I'll have to double check this. So just give me 2 seconds to take a look into stun and what's going to happen with poor Jin because of this. Alright, so we'll take a quick look at the condition cards here, or at least we haven't yet, so I might as well talk about them now. These ones here right in front of you represent the 3 different types of condition tokens that you can basically be thrown onto the different heroes and stuff like that in miniatures within the game. There's these 3 different ones. So this one here is for focus. Now before we used a focus token, which is perfectly fine because that's a reminder enough to pull the green die in. We talked about that in the last video. But if you don't know what they are, they actually have some great text on it to tell you exactly how those work essentially, and then the card gets discarded. So essentially those are for focus, but we're not talking about those. This is for bleeding, but we haven't run into it just yet in terms of an actual in-game scenario, but again gives you a card, tells you how to handle it in the moment, as well as gives you an idea of what the token looks like. And then underneath that, or beside it I should say, is the stun. Now we just got stunned, so we might as well take one of these cards to reference that stun. Jin is the one who's stunned, so let's read what this actually does. You cannot attack or voluntarily exit your space. Discard this condition with your next action. Okay. Interesting. So basically you're stunned, so you're going to burn an action basically to try to become unstunned essentially, because I can't attack or I can't voluntarily move, so it's going to waste one of my attacks. So that's what that Imperial Officer essentially did. So we've gone through it. Priority wise, he used his extra damage and stun. We've already applied the extra damage. We've now applied the stun effect, so that's all been resolved, and that's it. His attack is over. So let's bring all this stuff back and let's go over here. And he actually, which one did he do here? Now he didn't do his executive order. He did if this figures did not use so he did this, move 3 to attack, with that. So he can't actually do for his second action, he can't do this one right here because it's another one with a star and an arrow. He has to move to the next one. So it says move 3 to engage the other Imperial figure with the most health. Move 3 to engage the other Imperial figure with the most health remaining. Now, why would he move to engage the other Imperial figure with the most health remaining? Okay, so basically he's going to get close to. He wouldn't move in this case. I think that's a typo. I'm going to go ahead and say that's a typo, because it doesn't make any sense why it has the word engage. Engage to me sounds like he's going to go ahead and move 3 to engage the other Imperial figure with the most health remaining. That's not gonna matter. There is no other figure. I think in that case he would skip that then. He would skip that move 3 to engage one and move down to if this figure is not adjacent to another Imperial figure, which is true, move 4 to reposition 5. Okay, that makes sense. So I'm going to say he's going to move to reposition. So again, enemies can move through heroes and heroes can move through enemies, but it costs an additional movement point. So this enemy actually has 4 move. So we could go 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So we could kind of go huddle over here in the corner to try to get away from people, to make us have to get close to him and waste action. So I'm going to have him run to that corner essentially to kind of hide basically. And that's going to be the end of his activation. Now we're back to ours. Jin is up first, but Jin has to actually discard this condition by using an action, and that wastes one of her potential actions. And the second action now puts her into an interesting situation because she's not got perfect line of sight on this guy anymore, and can only, and so what ends up happening in these situations is something I talked about earlier. If you're trying to draw 2 perfect lines through, this line's valid. That's a completely valid line. You're allowed to draw across solid red lines. But the problem is, if she tries to get from her corner to another corner for the Imperial Officer, you'll see that the lines are obviously still going over top each other, and you can't have 2 lines that connect or touch really at all. So this is not a valid attack. She can't see him, so he moved into the best position for the Imperials to avoid an attack. And so right now, all I could do is move to position her to be able to attack later. By maybe using some movement speed, I could potentially try to rest to drain away some of my my strain and stuff like that. I think repositioning her probably makes the most sense. Maybe not. So let's actually have her rest. I think resting makes perfect sense. And if I do a quick check in the back of this book here, there is a... the rest ability right here says recover strain and possibly damage. Only heroes can perform it. So again, in the Legends of the Alliance campaign, you're only recovering your strain. It's a little different than the main game. So I'm going to choose, as we talked about in prior videos, to actually just recover rather than move. So all of her strain goes away because she's already maxed out for strain pretty much. And that'll be the end of her turn. So a little uneventful, that's for sure. Can I do anything else? No. So that's pretty much it for her. So she's done, but look, we still get to activate. So we still have our character's activations now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have, and I thought actually the Imperials would go again, but they didn't. I'm going to have Garkin get in there. So Garkin's going to actually, well, let me think about that. If I put Garkin here, it's going to block line of sight for Jin. So let's actually get Jin going first. She's going to go 1 and then 2 and get right beside him. So she's kind of wasting a little bit. She's got 3 more speed to use after this attack. But first off, she's going to make an attack using her Vintage Blaster. This Imperial Officer has 1 white die. So let's see if I can hopefully do something here. Oof, that was not exactly the best. Oh no, that's a complete, and so that's a dodge. So that's a complete miss. So the Imperial Officer was able to completely dodge the shot, even though he's right beside it, which is really impressive. So her turn's a complete wash in terms of, or her attack is a complete wash. She still technically has 3 speed to spend, so I could move her, position her elsewhere. For now, let's have her go. No, I want to keep her there. I want to keep her there because he's kind of bundled himself up in the back corner. So I'm going to leave her right there, and we're going to end her activation. So that did not go to plan whatsoever. Now Garkin really needs to get in there and finish this guy off because he's got 7 health. We just need 1 more hit on him. So let's activate him with a move of 1-2. He's now adjacent. We're going to have Garkin go ahead and do an attack. We're going to hope for the best. Do I have anything that can help me? I can become focused if I do a lot of damage. Oh, that's after somebody attacking me. Sorry, so I can't do that one. I could do charge, which would cost me endurance. No, I'm just going to go for this. Ugh. Well, charge would help me guarantee that I actually kill him. I'm going to risk it. We're going to risk things here. Come on. Yes, perfect. So we got the surge, we got the 3 hits, and the blank on the defensive die for the Imperial. So we get 1. We essentially get 1 surge to spend. I could use it on Pierce or Cleave, but I don't need to, so I'll use it on my strain. So I'll knock a strain token off him. And now I've got 3 damage coming through. That is more than enough to take out the Imperial Officer, thank goodness, before another guy gets called in. So this Imperial Officer now is taken off the board. I'll flip his card over, his dice are gone. We've got to let the app know that we've done that, and then we're going to end Garkin's turn. So he's been defeated. Oh, shoot, let me just double check that. Did I? Yes, 8. That was 8 total damage. We are good. I was thinking about the +3 as well, and we defeated him. The last transport's preparing to depart. Lieutenant Talkin reports via comlink. Grab any supplies you can carry and head towards the ship. Perfect. So the last objective is going to actually allow us to go open the crate. So we did that perfectly. I didn't know if the game was going to actually allow us to get over there and open those crates. We're going to end Garkin's activation. And we're going to go into round 3. We're going to go to those crates right away. So let's have Garkin activate. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, For that will be, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. He'll get him to there. So he's not enough to get all the way there, but almost. We'll have now again, remember we can use strain tokens too for extra movement points. So let's actually have Garkin take a strain token just so that you guys can see that in action, to use that to just get close to it. It's not an extra action he gets, it's an extra movement point. So now he's closer and ready to activate against that thing next turn. We'll have Jin now activate. Jin's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, and she's there. Done. Now Jin can actually activate the crate on this turn, so that's perfect. Let's do that. She's got one extra action. She moves a little quicker. Crate of supplies got left behind in the scramble to evacuate. A hero can interact with the crate. Remember, a hero must be adjacent and spend an action. We got it. You found some useful supplies. The hero who opened this crate draws 1 supply card from the supply deck. Make sure the cards listed in step 1 of the setup section, which we did, have been removed. Supply card provides a special ability to the hero that possesses it. Supply cards can't be traded. You also gain 50 credits. Credits are tracked in the app and can be spent between missions to gain new item cards. Cool. So here's the crate cards right here. These are like the loot cards, essentially. I'm just going to do a quick shuffle so that you guys know that I didn't rig the deck or do anything like that. And we're going to go ahead and flip it over. What do we get? We got ourselves a shock grenade, so we got a consumable explosive. So this one says, use an action, choose a space within 3 spaces, roll 1 yellow die. Each figure on or adjacent to that space suffers damage equal to the damage results and becomes stunned. Very cool. So that's now in Jin's possession. That's fantastic. And we're going to go ahead and knock that token off. So that's been removed, and we are now finished with Jin's turn, ending her activation. We still have to get Garkin here. We'll activate him by going ahead and opening up the last crate. He's going to go ahead and open this up, and you found a med pack inside. You gained 1 med pack. Your med pack count is indicated at the bottom of the screen. Cool. So a med pack here showed up. Med packs are used for recovering damage. You will typically begin a mission with 1 or more and can find more med packs over the course of a mission. Cool. Med packs do not carry over between missions, so you use them when you need them. Perfect. So you want to use those in the situations and you need them during the mission. After a hero performs a rest action, that hero can spend a med pack during that figure's activation to recover up to 5 damage. So after a hero performs a rest action, then you can spend the med pack. That makes sense. To use a med pack, select the med packs button and highlight it below. Perfect. I'm not going to do that right now. Med packs are in short supply for the rebellion, so you better use them wisely. You need to achieve your goals quickly, or else you'll find yourselves taking more damage than you should shake and you can shake off. If all heroes are wounded during a mission, you will have to be extracted before you can accomplish your objectives, and the Alliance High Command won't be happy with that. That is for sure. The last transport is away, Lieutenant Talcon calls over the comlink. All remaining troops get to your ships. Upon receiving the instruction, you begin falling back to the nearest docking bay where your team's freighter is docked. Your pilot is already there, ready to take off as soon as everyone is aboard. When the last of your team comes aboard, the small freighter takes off and rockets out of the docking bay. Your ship comes alongside the medium transport Freedom Fighter, and the 2 ships leave Yavin 4's atmosphere only to come face to face with an Imperial Star Destroyer. Fortunately, the Star Destroyer is already preoccupied hauling in another transport, allowing your ship and the Freedom Fighter to make their escape into hyperspace. This is the mission reward window. It shows you how much fame and how many credits you earned over the course of this mission, as well as bonuses for finishing the mission. At the bottom are items that the Rebel Alliance has allocated to your team as a reward for your service. Select outside of the mission reward window to close it. Cool. So we acquired laminate armor. That looks pretty awesome. We also got 1 XP class cards unlocked, so that's one of the ones we got unlocked. We have a total of 500 credits. That comes broken across credits found, mission rewards, and victory bonuses. Total fame's at 23 now. We gained 15 fame, and then we got round bonus and survival bonuses. That's awesome. Very cool. So I didn't know it tracked that much information. That's really interesting. So I think this is going to say, I think at this point we've completed the tutorial. So congratulations, you made it. You're well on your way to becoming Legends of the Alliance. Before you head out on your own, let's talk briefly about campaigns. We'll start with something fun. New gear. Select the Armory button below. So let's do a little check there. This is the Armory. Here you can spend the credits you have earned over the course of the campaign to buy new weapons and modifications for your current weapons. You can even trade in your current weapons except for starting weapons at full value to purchase new ones. Very cool. So you can't, I don't think you can trade in your starting weapon. So my Vibro Axe and my Vintage Blaster have to stick with me, from what I'm understanding here. The weapons and modifications shown here are found in the item deck. Item cards are separated into 3 tiers, denoted by the numeral on the back of the card. The Armory shows you in which tier you can find each of these items. So you can see tier 1, tier 2, and tier 1. So if I wanted to go ahead and actually pick these up and buy them, you could just actually go to your item deck, and if you have the cards already kind of organized, essentially you'll see there's Roman numerals. So for this section, you know, a large majority of these are 1s, a good section of these are 2s, and then there's 3. And I believe that's as high as it goes up. Could be wrong. Just double check. And other expansions might take it higher than that. I think 3 is the highest, but there you go. And essentially the cards they're referring to from the shop right now are actually found in these decks. So you'd be going to look essentially for DH-17, the spread barrel, and the extended halt or haft. All right, so let's go ahead. Now we got credits here, so it's essentially letting us go ahead and actually click. So you can click on these and buy them. It tells you how many credits will be remaining after you do it and all that good stuff. So we can click on this. It says modifications are a special type of item card. Modification must be attached to a weapon matching its icon, whether it's ranged or melee. Each weapon has a limit to the number of modifications it can have attached. This limit is shown by a number on the colored bars on the bottom right corner of the weapon. Okay, let's see. Colored bars on the corner. I wonder what that looks like. I'm not 100% sure about that, so I'm going to have to look into that later. Let me just do a quick look at some of the cards here. Actually, there's the spread barrel right there. So that's a modification to a barrel. 300 credits. Interesting, okay. This is going to take a little bit for me to get my head around just because I haven't actually seen this one before. An Armory will receive a new set of items after each mission, so be sure to check back in between missions. Note that the credit value printed on the item cards may differ, and we just saw that, 300 versus 250. Note the credit values maybe differ. Ignore the printer price in these instances. Spend your credits, then select leave to return to the campaign map. Okay, cool. So we can spread, you know, you can go ahead and do what you want, buy what you need type thing if you want it. So again, when I was looking at the spread barrel, it's a modification. So this, I think, would go on a gun that I currently have. And if I'm understanding this correctly, if I look at this, say for instance I was talking about Jin's blaster, she's got a Vintage Blaster. You can see there's one color-coded arrow there, or bar, and you can see when you actually pick up a weapon, it's got kind of an arrow pointing up. So I think because these kind of sync together, you would do it something like this, and that's how they kind of connect. And now it's like, there you go, your modifications now attached to your Vintage Blaster. This is the extra, you know, additional effects that's going to happen when you actually pin this up, but it's going to cost you credits, in-game currency essentially. You have to use your balance of credits here to purchase those particular items. And again, I'm not going to do that right now on camera because I want to think about what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to leave for now. This is going to take us back to the main page, the main tutorial page. It says the training screen records the class cards and reward cards that each hero has earned. Select the training screen now. So we'll go take a look at that. The training screen lists the cards earned for each hero. On the left side of the tracker is a list of the members of your squads. We got those 2 guys. Selecting a hero's portrait will display the cards for that hero. Any cards listed on the training screen can be traded to another hero. Cool. So this is really interesting. On the right side of the tracker is the personal inventory. This lists the hero's starting weapons and any reward cards. So it looks like the app's really keeping track of a lot of this stuff. The middle section of the tracker lists the hero's class cards. Class cards provide additional abilities for heroes to use. Class cards must be earned by a hero before the hero can use them. That makes sense. Each hero earns 1 class card after each mission, and each class card has an XP number in the bottom left corner. After the first mission, heroes unlock their 1 XP class cards to choose from, and each subsequent mission unlocks the next XP level class cards. Cool. Heroes with a blue icon next to their portrait are eligible to gain 1 or more class cards. For each of these heroes, select the hero's portrait to see that hero's class cards. Glowing cards are available to be selected. Solid blue cards have already been selected. All the other cards are locked. So again, we can essentially pick those one of those first 2, so like Quick as a Whip or Smuggler's Luck essentially are the first 2. You can change heroes' class card selections between missions by unselecting one of them. During a mission, you can select class cards for heroes whose cards you forgot to select before the mission began. However, you cannot change class card selections until the mission ends. So much stuff to read. At the start of each mission, you can use the training screen to remind each player which class cards and rewards you've earned. So really, it's just a reminder, it's a reference. You keep going back and forth, but there you go. So at this point now, I can select between the two characters. You can see it's changing. There's different levels. I haven't unlocked 2, 3, or 4. As you go through missions, more unlock and more class cards can be purchased. You can bounce back and forth. It shows your personal inventory. As of right now, Jin only has a vintage blaster, but that'll change in time. Vibroax for Garkin, same thing, but except totally different class cards. These line up to the class cards that are actually inside of the game as well. There's actual cards for them as well, not just on this app. So the inventory screen contains all the items and allies your squad has earned. Select the inventory screen now. So this is just going to go over the inventory. Now you saw this at the very end of the last one. We got some laminate armor, so this is where it's going to show it. At the start of each mission, distribute these items among heroes according to the rules for the item cards in the rules reference guide. So you'll need to reference that to know where those go. Above is a tab for allies. The tab lists all the allies you have earned during the campaign. You have not earned any allies yet. Allies can be earned by completing missions and encounters. Close the inventory screen by selecting outside. So this is going to allow you to, like, say you run into Han Solo and he's now one of your allies. He will show up in the ally tab. Right now I have none, so it doesn't apply. Encounters are short narratives that take place in between missions. Encounters appear on the map the same way missions do, except that they are identified by exclamation points. As with missions, selecting an encounter will open a description of that encounter, begin the encounter shown on the campaign map. So essentially, and I really do apologize, I just noticed that this is extremely blurry, so I'm going to try to hone this back in a little bit. But you can see right there, there is an exclamation mark right underneath there. It says Deep Space near Agmar. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. And that is an encounter. So that's the next one coming up anyway for this. So we're going to go ahead and click that. But for now, I'm just going to stop, because I think this is a perfect time to stop. And now we've kind of got a really good understanding. We've actually just gone ahead and finished off this particular one. So I can't wait to see what's happening next, but it looks like we're going on an encounter. So that's going to be interesting. So I hope you guys are enjoying the playthrough so far of Legends of the Alliance. Hopefully this is helpful, and I will see you in the next episode as we continue our journey through the Star Wars universe. Thanks again for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.